Assalamu alaikum. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can find a wholesale supplier or how you can find a product to sell. So the first thing you need to do is figure out exactly what your budget is. So if you've got a small budget, the most efficient way to find a supplier is to look local or look at established brands that are already established, already have a presence out there, and you're simply going to resell their products. Local suppliers are suppliers that are located in your local area or in your country that you can just go to buy products. Some of them can be branded, some of them can be unbranded, and usually what they'll do is they'll resell, packs of products. So let's take plain hoodies, for example. So a plain hoodie, a local supplier, typically what they would do is make a pack of these hoodies, and they would do a pack which contains 2 small sizes, 3 medium, and 2 large. And some of them might be mixed sizes, some of them might be one color but with the different sizes in them, and you simply buy this one pack, and they'll sell them only in packs. Each supplier will do it slightly differently, but usually they'll sell products in packs. The other thing you can do is find an already established brand which you simply approach for wholesale, and if you meet their criteria, you can then resell their product. The downside to this is that usually you will have to pay slightly more, and it's definitely more expensive than ordering from abroad. So that's with a small size budget. A small size budget is anything from £50, £100 to a couple £100. But you will have to take into consideration the supplier's minimum order. So some suppliers will have quite a low minimum order threshold, and others will have 250, 300, 400 and above. And if you don't know how to find suppliers that are local or international, I've got a free list linked under this video that will help you and give you ideas of how you could go about finding a supplier, whether it's locally or internationally. If on the other hand you have a medium-sized budget, which is a good few £100, 2, 3, 4, you can then make a choice of ordering abroad or ordering locally. That would come down to how expensive the product you're after is. So if your product is in the range of like £40 to £60 per unit, you definitely will still have to purchase them locally. However, if your product is in the single units, so for example, £2 to £3 to £6 to £10 per unit, then you might want to consider going international to order your first batch of stock. Now, if you've got a large budget, this is where you can really make money and you can really make profit. And the best thing to do is to order from abroad, especially if it's a product that doesn't require certifications like food or supplements. Then it's definitely better to order them from abroad. Your larger budget will allow you to order a much larger quantity, and the way it works is if you order a larger quantity, and the bigger your quantity, the lower the price per unit gets. And of course, if the price per unit is lower, that leaves you with a lot more room for profit. The other benefit you get with ordering from abroad is that usually they are manufacturers as well, which means they can private label your product. They can add your labels onto your products. They can customize your packaging for you. Of course, this will have an additional cost, but this is an excellent way to establish your brand. Even if you're making products that are ready-made, you can still have your label and your branding added onto that product before it's sent out to you. And finally, if you really wanted to, you could actually use your larger budget, depending how large it is, to custom make the product itself. So you can literally customize the product itself in the sense that it will have unique features added onto it or adjusted to your liking, and it will be different to anything that's out there in the market, which is an amazing way to come into the market, because then you have something completely unique, completely different, and therefore you're able to charge a little bit more than what's out there in the market already. However, customizing your own unique product is slightly a different ball game, and in my next video, inshallah, I'll go into depth of how to create your own unique product and the whole process of customizing your product, inshallah. So where do you find these suppliers? So as I mentioned, you can find them locally, or there are many different websites you can use in directories, or even Google to find these suppliers. I will link a list below under this video which you can use to give you ideas on how to find these suppliers. Typically, a lot of people use Alibaba, and Alibaba is excellent because they do have a guarantee, especially with the verified buyers, that if you place an order and you've had your whole conversation through Alibaba and you've placed your order through Alibaba, what happens is if the supplier has not delivered on the promise, or they haven't delivered on time or there isn't tracking to track that you have received that shipment, you can actually process your refund through Alibaba as well, which gives you that extra little bit of security since you are spending quite a bit of money. So once you've decided what platform you want to use to find your suppliers, or you can even use a mixture of platforms to find your suppliers, the next thing you need to do is explore. So keep scrolling around in there, find different varieties and versions of the product that you're looking for. And sometimes just scrolling around there, you might stumble upon products that are amazing products within themselves, nothing you want to change about them, and you might not have actually thought of selling that particular product. So they definitely have a lot of innovative new products and varieties on there already, which makes it an excellent way to find new ideas and explore different products and, you know, basically get inspired when it comes to finding products. So as well as exploring products, definitely compare prices, compare the MOQ for each supplier, which is the minimum order quantity. Every supplier will have a different minimum order quantity, and of course remember, the higher the quantity you're buying, the lower the price per unit, which obviously allows for a higher profit margin for yourself. And also on some of these directories and platforms, you can even filter the country that you want to supply from. So for example, some people do have an issue with purchasing from China, for example. Even though on Alibaba, majority of the suppliers are from China, there are definitely many suppliers that are registered on there that are from Pakistan, Bangladesh, from UAE, from the UK, even countries like Vietnam, different countries within Europe, and even USA. So once you're done with exploring the different suppliers, different products, different prices, and minimum order quantities, you know, have a chat with the suppliers, see how they are, see what they've done before, make sure they are the ones that are manufacturing the products. Ideally go with the suppliers that are verified by Alibaba or the platform that you are using. And once you're happy, do not skip this step. Make sure you order a sample. Order a few samples from a few different suppliers of that particular product that you're after, just to compare the qualities, just to compare the shipping and, you know, the way the product is arriving. Make sure it's arriving in good condition, in a good state, and again, that the quality is exactly what you're looking for, the fit, you know, the texture, the material that's being used to create your product. And if you're buying a product that's already made and you're not customizing it, then it should not be too expensive. Some suppliers even offer a free sample. Yes, you're going to have to pay for the shipping, and the shipping usually is a little bit pricey, but it's definitely worth the hassle and definitely worth the money, because trust me, I've learned some very expensive mistakes by not getting samples first. So I've even had samples and then still the final order arrived with mistakes, and then I've completely lost you know, my investment. So definitely make sure you do get a sample, test it for some period of time just to make sure that the quality is durable. And if your product is something that varies in sizes, make sure you take note of the different measurements of that product just to relate that back to the supplier to make sure you get exactly that same product in your bulk order. So once you've received your samples and you've checked them out and you've tested them and you've tried them and you are happy with hopefully at least one of the samples, choose one sample and one supplier to go ahead and place your bulk order with, inshallah. And once you've placed your bulk order, you can actually start making content with that sample you have in your hands, provided that it's exactly the identical product you will be selling in the future. And what you can do, you can start making content, put it out on social media, start building a hype around your brand and your business. If you have a website, you can actually make the listing already and make product pictures for your product and make a listing on your website, write down the description and the measurements and anything else that you need to list about that product, any sort of features it has. And although you can't sell the product just yet because you do not have the bulk stock with you, what you can do is you can even start building hype around that product and have some sort of deadline for when it's going to be arriving and be available to purchase. And what you can do is build a waiting list. Build a waiting list for your customers. Let them sign up so they can be notified as soon as the product lands. That way, all your investment that you've invested into your first batch of stock, you will have customers that are ready and waiting to purchase it as soon as you actually receive the product and you are ready to ship it out. So I wish you all the best. Don't forget to check out the free templates in my description. That will give you some ideas of how to find suppliers in your area or internationally on different types of platforms. So I wish you all the best. Assalamu alaikum.